bosses, so there's lots of that to do. And you got $3 a day for that, for a 7-hour day. Then they get $5 a day when I became the janitor of the administration center, right? So you're moving on up, and you get to spend $75 a week, which was quite a change from my like $250,000 a month I would handle, right?
Why did you turn in that weed you found?
What's that? Oh, that was stupid. Yes, there's an example of not taking my own advice.
Yeah.
In Saskatoon, yes, you're right. And here's the problem. I've had kids before. And one of the things I always say is, as I try and tell kids, tell the truth to your parents, right? Even if you're going to disagree with them. Even if you say, I understand where you're coming from, Mom and Dad. I understand your point of view, and I've listened to it. But you know what? I've come to a different conclusion, and I disagree. It doesn't, whether it's going out late, coming home late, or whatever, as long as you understand each other, you can only say, all right. Then you have to be responsible for your decision. But, you know, that's what you're saying. So your question again was?
Why did you turn
yes.
in the weed?
So the officer walks into us. It's a group of 40 beside the Hotel Bessborough in 2004. The university tour here. It's around March.
No, in the jail.
In the jail. You were cleaning up, and in your blog, you found some weed.
No, I didn't. I came in the mail.
In jail.
It was a hash, yeah. It was very clever, and you shouldn't do this. But what happens is a guy sent me a beautiful letter, and he had a beautiful handmade kind of dinky toy, a police vehicle. That was a 3D thing on his letter. Now, normally, all gifts are pretty inspected, and it was beautifully done. And even the officer opened it up and said, that's kind of cute, you know, a 3D kind of like panorama, and there was a nice map, and the police vehicle was chasing me down. I'm like, whoa, this guy spent a lot of time. So anyway, that letter, like all others, was inspected page by page and given to me. So when I got into the cell, though, I read it, he said, hey, if you check carefully inside this police vehicle, you'll find that the red light on top is something very special. And sure enough, I popped it off, and the smell of hash just burst into my fucking face, right? And I go, holy shit, hash in my room, fuck, this really reeks, right? And you get it, they open the door every half hour, right? And so sooner or later somebody's going to come in, and if there's a hash smelling, then that'd be very bad for me, because I had not so much very bad. In a small world it would be very bad, because you get an extra 10 days onto your sentence if they find you with pot. It was 3 days for tobacco, 3 days for porn you weren't supposed to have, which was all porn you're not supposed to have. And you got really bad if they found hard drugs. You got taken from where you were right into solitary for at least 2 weeks. And then the most severe, like, lockup area. So, and I'd also gotten used to not having pot, because what happens is everybody else can get drugs if they really want, but it does corrupt things. People get more sentences, like, because what happens is they would frequently raid our lockers all the time.
But I'm curious,
and most of the prisoners got extra days added on, because they always had tobacco or pot or magazines they weren't supposed to have, right?
Now, Mark, I'm curious here, because I transcribed all of his blog entries, and I don't recall any time where he's cleaning or found weed by toilet. Do you, like, that was written in...
My memory goes back, best served, that Mark was somewhat stressed getting towards the end of this thing, the 90 days. But I was reading those blogs.
Yeah, it was a piece of hash, and I threw it out the window.
Okay, I'm going to have to say...
I threw it out the window because I didn't want the smell. I immediately freaked and go, whoa, I don't want this hash, and I threw it out the window.
And
I have all the
but you know, but the thing is, I also was a little alarmed, because you're not supposed to, if people send you hash, you're responsible for it. So if they would have found it, it would have got me into like 10 days extra time in jail for something I didn't ask for and didn't want. But you get the responsibility of whatever anybody sends to you, you're considered responsible for it. So if they open it and they find drugs, and I was worried they would have found this hash, then I would have had 10 days added on to my sentence, which would have been very sad, because I was so looking forward to getting out. I would have had nothing to do with it, and clearly in the blogs people were told, don't sneak me weed, because the thing is, my reputation was impeccable. When I told them I wouldn't smoke pot there, I meant it. Okay, in exchange for the trust we have, because as the janitor for the administration center, I was around all the women. I was around all their purses. I saw the director every day. I cleaned his office. He was alone with me a lot. I had to be considered a very sane, normal, trustworthy person. And they read my jail blogs every day, every single one of them. And I got lots of stuff done. We got our place cleaned with new carpet cleaners one day because I complained. I got a guy got his tooth looked after 2 months early because I complained. Right, okay. But anyway, everybody who worked at that jail read those blogs. blogs that Jodie typed up, and we were able to get lots of change in the prison, but you had to do it very subtly. You could never complain about anybody by name. I learned that as a good policy. Vague general complaints would just simply get to whoever needed to hear. Maybe something would happen, right?
Next
So
question.
anyway, okay.
All right.